Hello and welcome to our show. Whenever you get close to the Nile, you will find different types of trash floating on the surface of the water. Besides, some areas of the river are now fully covered with human waste. That's what made the two Egyptian startups, Basita and Greenish, launch their initiative entitled VeryNile to clean up the river and increase the awareness of plastic waste in Egypt. We have with us today Mr. Shady Abdallah, one of the founders of VeryNile initiative, to tell us more about their efforts and the future plans. Hello, Mr. Shady.
Hi.
Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for coming.
You have been working for about 4 months now. How many tons of trash have you collected until today?
Collectively, 10 tons so far, but we are planning to increase this number and trying to innovate with the collection process so we can actually double this number in the next 2 months.
You are a group of young men from different fields,
And
business.
women.
Yeah, yeah, you are from different fields. What made you interested in the environment in Egypt?
Greenish, I am also the co-founder of Greenish. Greenish is a company that focused on developing sustainable solutions related to environment. So it's not a far field. We have already done cleaning events in Alexandria and many other locations around Egypt. Basita, on the other hand, they are also a social business that's focused on advocacy related to social causes and also environmental ones. So Basita were the ones who, the founder, one of the founders, Salem, he's a co-founder of Basita. He was walking by the Nile and he saw a pile of trash. So he thought maybe he can do something about it, and he contacted us, and we decided, okay, we can put effort into cleaning the Nile. At the start, it was a crazy idea. Then later, it worked.
What made this initiative different from your previous campaigns?
It's different because it's focused on the Nile. We have managed to engage all the community around the Nile, including passers by bridges, companies like Nile Taxi that work in the Nile, rowing clubs, ministries. So we've managed to engage every stakeholder into putting effort toward one goal, which is cleaning the Nile. Right now we are very, very focused on the Nile. So right now we are developing a boat that's going to enhance the cleaning process. We are trying to take the trash from the Nile and recycle it in a creative way in order to produce products. So being specific on the Nile made us more focused when it comes to establishment of partnerships and also to develop solutions toward the plastic waste in the Nile.
Actually, two of your sponsors are the Embassy of New Zealand and the International Organization of Migrants.
Yes.
What kind of support do you get from them?
For Embassy of New Zealand and the International Organization for Migration, both of them were so kind to sponsor our equipments at the first event. So technically, they are sponsoring life jackets for the volunteers, cleaning equipment, our biodegradable plastic bags. This is where the sponsorship goes, and also trying to support us when it comes to technical enhancement.
Technical like what?
Like technically working on one of our sponsors. I can't say this right now because they are not it's not official yet, but they are helping us with the designs of the boats. This is a kind of support. Some of our sponsors are helping us to connect and get legalization. So our VeryNile is supported by Ministry of Environment, and right now we are getting Ministry of Youth and Sports on board. So they support us with legalization, with our presence in the street, support us with permits to be in the Nile, because it's not an easy process. You can just come up with the idea to clean the Nile with 1,000 people and just go to the Nile and clean.
How will those boats be different from any other boats on the Nile?
They are a trash collecting boat, which means that they can collect 1.5 ton of trash per 3 hours. So the boat is walking and collecting trash. There's no boats that walk and collect trash over the Nile.
But they will collect trash from the surface of the water. How about the trash that is at the bottom of it?
Plastic floats. So technically plastic is a problem because it floats. We right now are trying to work with divers, but it is a little bit challenging to have divers go underneath the Nile and try to collect because it's very dark. So it's hard for them. So we're trying to innovate ideas about the bottom of the Nile, but there is a huge problem when you collect with this gears in the Nile without seeing what are you collecting, because you might be taking fish, you might be destroying the natural ecosystem around the Nile. So right now we are focused on the plastic on the top. We are trying to advocate about the water quality with factories and different other stakeholders. And then with the cleaning of the bottom of the Nile, this is something that we are trying to work around it. Right now we have a group of divers that's supporting this for this function specific.
How do you maintain the safety and sanitation of people who collect with you?
We technically have certain procedure and guidelines, so no one is collecting unless they are wearing a huge reusable gloves, which does not allow water in to touch their body. We have the boots to their knees, so it's very hard to get exposed to water around these areas because this is usually what they get exposed to. And we have the life jackets, and there is also many guidelines related to how to stand in a boat, how you can just like
so you need
lean against
professionals to work with you?
Each 10 volunteers are with one facilitator, one of VeryNile facilitator. So they are technically very well trained on how to deal with emergencies.
How long does it take to train them?
Usually they come from very familiar backgrounds, especially people who are in the boats. So they are engaged in a way or another. They go through a training session that's usually 3 days. It's from 1 day to 3 days to get familiar with the topics that or whatever we are doing, but they usually come from development backgrounds, they come from community engagement activities backgrounds, so it's not far away from their field, so it does not require a huge training beforehand.
You depend mostly on volunteers, right?
We have our full-time staff. Bosita has their full-time staff, and we have partners, but volunteers are a huge driving force when it comes to VeryNile, either organizing volunteers or cleaning volunteers.
So not everyone can join you, right?
Of course, everyone can join. This is something for the public.
But you said that they have background how to deal with
the facilitation process. But people can get to volunteer, like either in the cleaning. Cleaning does not require any, which is where most of the people come in for the cleaning day. So cleaning does not require any previous experience. This is one thing. Other things that you can volunteer in so many things in the event, but not specifically facilitation.
What are the other things that volunteers can do?
You can volunteer on catering and food. You can volunteer on logistics, waste logistics, supplies. You can volunteer in entrance, welcoming, in handling very site-specific projects on assisting facilitators while they are dealing with people. There's so many things that volunteers can, social media.
For people who want to join you, how can they do this?
They can follow our Facebook page. You can easily to find a link for registration for cleaning volunteers or organizing volunteers. So you can easily register on this link and we're going to contact you.
What do you do with the trash after collecting them?
It goes, right now we are working massively, especially Bosita, they are putting a lot of effort into this. They are trying to enhance the added value on the trash. Right now the trash is collected from Haiza Balin, Garbage City collectors, where they take it segregated. We segregate for them also, but they recycle it. They sell it to factories to be recycled, or it is recycled in Haiza Balin itself. So technically this is where it goes, but right now we are working on shoes, as going to be totally made out of recycled plastic from VeryNile, and also bracelets in collaboration with Upfuse. That's actually out now.
It's usually known that the recycled products are more expensive than other products?
Not necessarily. These lines are going to be expensive, yes, because most of the money goes into the cleaning activities and also to fishermen, so we can actually have a continuous cleaning process on daily basis, not only during our VeryNile events, but also to have the fishermen engaged and gives them value over the waste that they collect. So this line is going to be a designed line. We have very, very famous designers on the product line. So we made this choice in specific in order to fundraise. But we, in Greenish, most of our work highly challenges this concept that we do recycled products, we encourage recycling industries or upcycling industry, because upcycling is the more expensive one. Recycling is not expensive.
People reuse their plastic bags and the plastic bottles. Do you think that this might harm them?
It's already harming. Reusing is actually doing an environment a favor, but they need to consider from the first, there is a huge urge and reason to use plastic bottles or plastic bags, because plastic bottles and plastic bags are kept in the sun, usually outside, where it breaks down and actually affects the health of everyone using them if it's exposed to food. So this is the first direct connection to plastic bag. And then when they throw it out into the environment, it eventually fish or animals eat it and it gets back to them in food. So it's a circular process that we need to consider. Reusing jars, for example, is something good. Reusing plastic bottles for water, I won't highly recommend this, but it can be reused as a pencil holder, for example. You can plant in it, you can do many other things, but not reuse it for direct consumption sort of functions.
Thank you, Mr. Shady Abdallah, one of the founders of VeryNile initiative, for being with us today. Thank you all for watching. We hope that you enjoyed our episode about VeryNile initiative and their efforts to reduce the plastic waste in Egypt. See you next time.